Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Brandon Woodworkers channel. My name is Mike, and today I figured we would talk about sharpening chisels. Now, I'm no expert when it comes to sharpening chisels, and I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows how to do it better, but this is what has worked for me, so this is what I'm going to show you today. Let's get started. As you can see, we've got several whetstones here. These are Shapton ceramic whetstones. And we've got them in various grits, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, and 8,000. So basically what I did was took the cheapest chisel I could find. I'm sure I probably got this at a yard sale years ago in a box full of stuff. It's been in a box ever since. It's not something I would typically use, but I figured for this demonstration, it's going to be your average box store chisel that anybody would pick up in a box store. And if you can get this sharp, trust me, you can get anything sharp. Now I typically start off with 1,000 grits. You can start off with 2,000 if you like. You can use the fancy lapping fluid, but I typically like to just use water. Spray a little bit of water on there. Take the face of the chisel, spread the water around a little, and then you're just going to take this and you're going to work this back and forth, trying to keep this part, of course, flat, and work it back and forth, back and forth. Now that black stuff that you're seeing there, that's actually the metal of the chisel actually coming off. That actually lets us know that what we're doing is actually working. So I like to do this for a little bit. Take an old towel and then kind of wipe that off. Now, you can see there's still striations on there, grinding marks from where they ground this originally, but you can see we're slowly starting to get rid of those. So, continue. You don't have to put a ton of pressure when you're doing this, just a nice even back and forth motion. And basically what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to get the face of the chisel flat. And the reason we do that is we want this point here and this bevel point here to meet at a perfect angle. So once we get this sharp, that's what they'll do. And I don't know if you can see on there or not, but as you can see, that's starting to get a little shinier and shinier. And as we go along, it'll get shinier and shinier at that tip until it's almost like a polish. A little more water. And again, just back and forth, back and forth. You typically only have to do this a few times, especially with the 1,000 grit. The 1,000 grit's pretty aggressive, and as you can see, we are starting to get those striations or grinding marks are now starting to go away. So at this point, I would move up to a 2,000 grit, and again, you could probably go to 5,000 at this point, but this is the way I've always done it, so I just continue to do it this way. It only takes a couple extra minutes. And again, same as like the first one. Just keep working that back and forth. And again, the black stuff that you see there, that's metal actually coming off of the chisel, and that's what you want. That's how we're going to get that flat. Probably hard to see on the camera, but that's going to get flatter and flatter until we get a nice polished surface. Now you don't have to polish up as far as I am here either. You really only need the tip of that to be polished. Now all chisels are going to have to be sharpened right out of the box. They say they're sharp enough, and they're sharp enough to use, but they're not sharp enough to do what we want them to do as far as woodworkers. So this is the process that unfortunately you just have to do. And you know, when these are made, they're ground on a wheel in a factory, and you know, they're just trying to get them good enough to where you can use them to do ordinary chisel work, but not the fine detailed stuff that we're used to. So as you can see, that's starting to get better and better. The striations on there, grinding marks, are getting smaller and smaller, and that's what you're trying to get rid of. You're trying to get rid of, make this flat and get rid of all of those grinding marks. So at this point I'm going to go up to the 5,000 grit. And again, these are ceramic water stones. You can get them on Amazon. Now, they're not the cheapest in the world. Some people would say they're a little bit on the expensive side. I started off, when I first started doing woodworking, started off with the glass plate with sandpaper, and I'll be honest, I just got tired of changing sandpaper all the time. So I splurged for the ceramic stones, and it just makes everything a lot easier, a lot simpler and quicker. So I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera or not, but we're actually starting to get a mirror on there now. You can actually see the light reflecting in there. You can see your face in there. So now we're starting to get somewhere on that. Just want to do it one more time on here. Again, this doesn't take long. Within a few minutes, I mean, some chisels are worse than others, but within a few minutes you can typically have a nice working chisel that's razor sharp, which is basically what we're going for. But we're starting to get to a mirrored finish. So at this point I'm going to go up to the 8,000 grit. And again, it's probably good enough at the 5,000, but I always like to be an overachiever. So let's go to 8,000 and see how shiny we can actually get this one. But that's definitely good enough to see your reflection in. So that's what you're looking for. You're just looking for something that's mirrored like. Now, you don't have to get every single scratch out of there. You just want to get the deep scratches out. Doesn't have to be, absolutely perfect. Those little minute scratches that are just from the stone, those are not going to hurt or bother anything. Okay, at this point we're going to work on the bevel. It's got a little bit of rust on there. Definitely got the grinding marks and stuff on it, and that's what we're trying to remove. We're trying to remove all of those grinding marks. So at this point I'm going to start back at 1,000 grit. Now there's people out there that use jigs to do this, and that's fine if that's what works for you. Me personally, I've always used my hand. I can kind of feel that bevel, and that's what you want to do. You want to get that bevel right at the factory bevel, and then just kind of go back and forth on that. And it really doesn't matter. There's some people out there that they like to go one direction, pick it up and come back. That's fine if that's what it takes to get the rhythm and to keep that bevel at the right spot. Then of course if that works for you, do it. Try different stuff. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. I've seen people go back and forth. And again, that's fine. There is no one way to do this. You're basically just, the main thing is keeping that chisel at that factory, typically 25-degree bevel. And that's what we're wanting to do. And again, I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera or not, but we're starting to get a little bevel here and a little bevel there. And that's what we want. So I'm just going to work at this a little bit longer. Again, if you're starting to get too much taken off of one side, you can put a little bit more pressure, down on the opposite side to try to even that out. And again, we're starting to get rid of those striation marks. And a little bit left there. Again, find your bevel. That's the most important part. Once you find that bevel, then you can work it back and forth. Again, just got a little bit left. There's a little striation right there. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit more pressure down on that side. And again, just about got it. So that's good enough on that one. Gonna go back over to the 2000 grit. Again, find your bevel. That's the most important part. And you keep going up in grits. The more you go up in grits, the shinier it's going to get, the more mirrored finish it's going to get. And that's what we're looking for. And as you can see on the camera, we've got a nice shiny spot there. Still got some edges there that are a little high, and we're going to try to work those down. As you can see, we are definitely starting to get all the grinding marks off. One more time with the 2000 grit should do it. And again, we're just trying to get a nice bevel on there so it meets with the face at a nice sharp point. And there you have it. So we're good at that. Again, we could probably go right to the 8000 at this point, but again, I've always done it this way, so it doesn't hurt. It takes a couple extra minutes. Find the bevel and then back and forth. And again, I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera or not, but we are definitely now starting to get more and more shiny on there. And again, at this point, can almost see a reflection in there, which is what we're looking for. So at this point, I'm going to move up to the 8000 grits. And I like using these shelf liners. They work great. They hold it down onto your work area. Just try not to use the one out of your wife's kitchen drawer. They tend to get upset about that. Trust me, I know from experience. And again, now we've got almost a mirror type finish. We've got a little spot right there that I'm not thrilled about. So I'm going to continue to work at this for a little bit longer, and then I'll come back and show you in the next step. You're looking for that edge that you can actually see your reflection in, and that one you definitely can. It's got a nice mirrored edge on it, front and back. You're just trying to get rid of all the deep scratches left from the grinding wheel from when this was sharpened at the factory. So we've accomplished that at this point. Typically at the last step, I like to do, just in case there's a burr or something on there, I like to kind of drag the bottom of that across there. If there is a burr, it'll kind of get that off. and that's what we're looking for, is to get that burr off of there. So now we've got a nice, sharp, clean edge with a mirrored finish. Now after you get the chisel mirrored like we have it now, you've got the face flat, you've got the bevel at the angle that you want. At this point, you're going to take the face of the chisel, and then you're going to, again, the same motion that we did before, and I use the back piece of the wood. This is a strop. It's basically a piece of leather. It's either horse hide, cow hide, buffalo hide. And then it's got some compound on it, which is the aluminum oxide compound. And how I do this is I put it on the back first, the back piece of the wood, to do the face. And you just take this and go back and forth. And you don't have to have a lot of aluminum oxide on there, just some. It's basically an abrasive that helps polish this up. Now typically I would do this in the vise, but I want to do it here so you guys can kind of see it, so bear with me. But basically you're going to go back and forth on this like this, and again you're just trying to get a nice polish on the back of that. And hopefully the camera is picking that up. I apologize, this is my first YouTube video, so bear with me. But hopefully you're catching that on the camera. It's a mirrored finish. I can actually see my reflection in there. So again, that's good enough on that. I always take it and go across just in case there's a burr on there. Now at this point I'll flip it over, be a little bit more delicate with this, with the bevel side of it. Both sides are important, don't get me wrong. In my opinion, the bevel, of course, is the most important. And again, you're gonna find your bevel, and again, I like to go back, lift the chisel, and then come back. Now you're gonna do this, and the more you do it, the quicker you'll get at it, but you're gonna do this probably 30 times. Now, like I said earlier, once you go through the stone process and get this all flat, this is all you're gonna ever have to do to your chisels. So as they start to get dull, you bring them over to the strop and you just strop this edge. You typically don't even have to do the back. Some people do, and that's fine. But this edge here, the beveled edge, is what you're gonna strop the majority of the time. So again, about 30 times. And sometimes when I notice a chisel is dull, I may come over to the strop a couple times a day and just do 5 or 10 strokes just like this. So again, you've got this nice super mirrored finish that you can see your reflection in. At that point, you're done. Hey everyone, I wanted to see if I could give you a close-up view of the mirrored image on there as well. Hopefully you can catch that in the camera. That's what we're striving for right there. Something that you can see your reflection in, and of course the bevel on the other side, same way. So again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks. Have a good day.